Season 41. We are exactly 10 weeks away from the date of Survivor Season 41. And over the pandemic, we didn't hear much. We didn't hear really anything. There was maybe a rumor here and there, but we knew it was Fiji. We knew that. That was pretty much the only lock because the reason why they couldn't do filming was, you'd think, oh, it's 100 people. They're not, going out in between episodes. They're contained. So as long as you frequently test them and everything, it should be fine. But the problem was Fiji's TSA, their airport, airlines, whatever you call it, their government wasn't allowing people to come in. They had a ban. And so they couldn't get a crew in. So because of that, we knew, okay, it's Fiji. It's still Fiji. But over the past, week or two, we have had
a lot of info.
Yeah, a lot of info. A mix of rumors, leaks, news, updates from Jeff himself. So we're going to kind of address pretty much everything we could find. We'll try to, when we go from topic to topic, we'll try to say, this is a leak, this is a rumor, where we heard these things. But if you haven't checked it out, the three places I would recommend going are Inside Survivor, which definitely are Survivor Insiders, Inside Survivor, whatever it's called. They have an inside man, I guess, coming out with a lot of info. Of course, that's just rumors. The other place I'd recommend going is Jeff's Instagram. He put out a post as of July. He put out July 12th, I guess it would be. He put out a lengthy Instagram post, 2-minute video, giving some updates. And then just checking in with Survivor's Twitter page. I'd say those are the three biggest sources for us. So scale of 1 to 41. How excited are you, Gideon, for this upcoming season?
I mean, so excited. You started off the quarantine with, just, 40 wrapping up, and you feel like it's the end of an era. It's like you had the first 20 seasons and then a new era kind of unfolded, and now we've just wrapped up the next 20 seasons. So it's like a once in a decade kind of turn for Survivor. And now we've been forced to wait an extra, how long, month or not month, a year? I mean, yeah. we've been having to wait so long to see whatever, is going to happen to Survivor. And now we're getting all these leaks now, which is just teasing us even more. I mean, I'm the most excited I've ever been. I'm the most into Survivor I've ever been because I've been doing nothing but diving into Survivor on this podcast and watching other podcasts during quarantine. Because of Netflix, I think the love for Survivor is a lot higher than it has been in the general public. So yeah. I think there's a lot of good things that could come if Survivor plays its cards right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's cool is there's such a clear time frame that ended old school and became new school, right? When pretty much when Russell played with Samoa was the cap. Token Machines was kind of the send off season. The seeds were kind of planted with Samoa, and then with 20, we pretty much were ushered into a new era of the show. It was like a send off and then a nice beginning. So similarly with this era we're in now, which right now is new school. Years from now, we might break up the schools and eras of something else.
It might be called middle school, even though it's going to be hard to call, 20 through 40 middle school because we've seen such high level gameplay, especially from 35 to 40. The gameplay really picked up, and in 31, right. You just saw absolute madness, and I don't know how it can get. I don't know how the level of gameplay in 41 is going to get any higher, but if it does, fair play. But I don't know. I don't know if I want to even see a higher level of gameplay. I just want to see something different, which is what I'm hearing from the rumors that we'll talk about.
Yeah, sounds like we will. But first, before we address the rumors, the news, the leaks, there's one thing we have to address, and it's coming in the form of an absolute, sincere, deepest, regretful apology. Gideon and I Giddy and I have not slept for weeks.
I'm crying.
We both have had to seek therapy because of the trauma that has been brought upon us due to our own mistake. We're not blaming anyone but ourselves. What did we do? We accidentally mistook Jenny as a man when she is in fact a woman, right? Or is it the other way around?
No. You got it. You got it right. You got it right. You know, we were doing our season 41 cast assessment. We had the littlest information we had was on her, and so we were just like, picture. You know, we can only see half. We can only see half her face. So we were just like, yeah, I guess it's a man then, you know, because, you know, Jeannie, I thought it was Jeannie, you know, I don't know, maybe man, who knows? I actually thought it was a woman, and then you said man, and I was like, oh, I guess it is a man.
This is my fault. It's all
as the 30 plus comments, and that ended up being our most popular video we've ever released. Yeah. Maybe because we did mess that up, and people were sharing it, being like, look at these bigots misgendering Jenny. Okay, we apologize. We will get it right. We're sorry. We took a mental health break, and now we're better.
Yeah. No, just to be clear, I mean, obviously we're sorry, I guess, but like Gideon said, when it comes to researching these contestants, which haven't even been officially confirmed, for all we know, this Jenny person isn't even on the season. Now, I have been told by a couple of the people that were on the leaks that, yes, the list is true, and there's a lot of evidence, as you can see in our video, where we dig through their Instagrams that kind of prove it's true, or at least partially true. But every single of the it was 20 people, right? It was 18. 18 people. Every single one had an Instagram, a Twitter, and probably had a Facebook. We didn't dig too much into Facebook. Ginny had nothing. No LinkedIn. No nothing. If you Google that person's name, you will find nothing except for one picture where she is like kind of covering her face, pointing like this. So we couldn't really see. How does everyone else know? That's what I want to know. I think it's because, I guess, if you count, there would probably have to be 9 men and 9 women. And I guess if Ginny was a man, that would be 10 and 8, which... but Ginny, if you watch that, and if you're watching this, we're sorry. Come on for an interview. When you win. When you win. Not when you play, when you win.
Yeah, that's right. Winner pick, baby. Attaboy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now moving on to our first one. I mean, I guess the first one would just start off with the most concrete thing, and that is that Survivor. I don't know if it was. I'm looking it up now. I'm going to be in and out sharing my screen with you guys. If you go to, I believe it's Survivor's Twitter account, they posted the date. We have
September 22nd, right?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to pull it up.
Yep.
So there we go. Go ahead and follow Reality Pop on Twitter. So Jeff, long hair.
Look at long hair, Jeff. What a daddy.
Yeah. Here we see Davey. Davey's into it. Devins is into
Russell can't confirm. Richard Hatch is not into it.
Is he?
He is not into it at all. He made fun of Jeff's Botox.
Yes. Into the show, not into the host.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, September 22nd, that would be the second to last Friday in September. Normally Survivor, if I did my research right, almost every, if not every season in the last like 10 years has always been the last Friday in September. This is the second to last. So does that mean
it's on Friday? It's not on Wednesday?
Or on Wednesday, the second to last Wednesday. It's normally on the last Wednesday. Now, September...
I am hearing it's a 2-hour premiere.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say September does have 5 Wednesdays. Most of the time, most of the time months only have 4 Wednesdays. Every year there's like 2 months that have 5 Wednesdays. So maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because it's somewhat of a longer season because, you know, it's 20, and we'll talk about this later, the 26 days. Maybe they stretch the episodes longer. Remember they did that 2-hour Winners at War episode, like right in the middle of the season. It was just out of nowhere. It was 2 hours.
It was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And it's such a great response. Everyone was like, why isn't every episode this long? Because in Australian and South African Survivor, it's like an hour and 10 minutes, but that's with no commercials. So with commercials, like an hour and a half. So maybe they're expanding. Who knows? That's
I don't know. I know they got the 2-hour premiere. I would hope they did another 3-hour finale because that was just awesome. But I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that the 3-hour finale was maybe the greatest Survivor finale of all time. So who knows? I hope you guys do that, Survivor production.
Yeah. Well, was the finale 3 hours though? Because they cut the
reunion.
I don't know.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind them just doing a reunion and only putting it on CBS All Access or Paramount. I don't give a crap. I want to see gameplay. I don't care what you did after the show. So
here's the logo, which when Survivor released. Yeah, I like it too. When Survivor initially released this, I was like, is this just like a temp logo? Because it's like, it's not, there's no name. But then when we found out, this season has no theme, no blank versus blank, no change in location. It's just Survivor 41. Drop the 4, keep the 1, as Jeff said in his video.
Yep.
If it, there's not too much going on here. I mean, there's the
storm. Maybe some bad weather. Somebody's drowning, but their torch is still alive. You know, you can try to infer as much as you can from the logo, but can you? I don't know, though. I really like the vibe. I like the new vibe that they're going for, though. I mean, it's very, I don't know. I like it. It's one of my favorite logos that have come out of it. There's not too much going on. I like the simpler logos. Like my favorite logos are those first 4 seasons of Survivor when they are just like, it's just a kangaroo and then okay, like it's just an elephant or whatever. Like I like those, you know, like don't get me wrong, Cagayan's my favorite season, but whatever's going on with that logo, it's like there's like 8 different aspects to it. I couldn't really keep up.
Right. Yeah, even like the colors are different. They're normally very like saturated, vibrant colors, whereas this time it's a little more like pastel-y and dull.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it's like comfort colors is the word. Like this is more comfort colors from Survivor, which is cool.
They're almost like Easter colors.
Yeah.
So no, I like the logo.
Me too.
I definitely like it.
I can't wait to buy a buff and whatever shirts they come out with because I'm buying it as soon as they come out with it on CBS.com.
I guess I can get one too since we are the buffs after all.
We have to get, hey man, my buff collection, it's sitting right over here. I can't wait to add to it, you know?
Yeah. So apparently this is, 18 survivors, right? Yeah, 18, 3 tribes of 6 is the rumor. So I'm going to show you guys.
Okay, so right now we're showing rumored. This is not
a rumor.
Yeah, this is a rumor, guys, but we're going to give it some attention.
Yeah. Now, okay. So to kind of address each tribe, this looks like the challenge winning tribe. You have the ex-NFL player. You have Sydney, who, if I remember correctly, we did some research that she had some athletic backgrounds. And then these 2 guys just look smart. I don't know.
We did when we were doing our research, the man on the right, we saw that he was a runner. And then, and like rode bikes and stuff. Even though he's older, on the older side, he was still very active. So yeah, it does look like a strong tribe.
Yeah. Oh, here you go. This is the opposite. This looks like, I don't know. I'm not seeing like what you typically look for in like the challenge beast. I don't know if I see it on this tribe.
Maybe the young guy on the bottom right. You got to remind me of these names. It's been a while, but
Xander, I think.
Yeah, Xander, and then I know the guy in the middle is the military guy that we were looking at, and but then my winner pick on the bottom left. So I don't know though. I mean, I think there's going to be a swap early, so I'm not really too worried. I'm not too worried about it because they're definitely gonna swap into two. I mean, they always do when they start out with tribes like this.
Now this looks like the fun tribe. This looks like the dominant tribe. This looks like the mess tribe. You know, it's like old and young. There's no like, you know, this looks like the fun tribe. I can see
that being a problem. Yeah.
This guy looks fun. This guy I know is going to be
the rancher. That's the young guy. We were looking at his Instagram, and he just went to prom. I was like, he just went to his high school prom. Now he's on Survivor.
If I have a fan favorite pick, it's this guy right here. Jarius.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. Yeah, Jarius. Yeah, I can't wait to see him. Then your winner pick right there.
Yeah, Ricard. We have a TikTok star. We have the beauty queen of the season, and then
we actually have two TikTok stars.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because Ricard also has like 200K on TikTok.
Okay, well, what constitutes as a star? What would you say is a star?
I don't look, man. I have 3 million on TikTok. I don't even think I'm a star, but
well, there you go.
It's all relative.
And then we have the greatest player of all time right here.
Winner pick,
Jenny.
Winner pick, Jenny.
Sarah, I believe. And what is Jenny? Grocery store worker. Yeah. So, you know, it's you know, I mean, I guess nowadays it's kind of like, you know,
I hope we see a TikTok star final two, TikTok star alliance.
Yeah. Back in, you know, probably the olden days of Survivor, the early to mid 2000s, there definitely was professions in America that were, this profession is male dominant, this profession is woman dominant. So with that, you know, it's a little easier to know, like if they'd say, we have a rancher this season, or, you know, we have a pharmacist. Nowadays, you know, in just a few short years, it seems like pretty much every profession in America isn't male or female dominant. So it's a little harder to pick if you just know the occupations. But according to Inside Survivor, that is the tribe divisions.
Rumored
tribe divisions. The other rumor, and this isn't even a rumor. This is just me and Gideon doing some scoping here. I'm gonna try to find Sydney. Okay.
So
Sydney was.
I know what you're about to say.
What's happening? My screen is not being shared right now.
Oh,
there it is. Okay. So Sydney was originally my number two or three, I think I had her. And again, we're going to do like a full draft later on as the season gets closer, where hopefully we'll have more information about these people and when the list is confirmed. But for now, if you look at Sydney, it might have just been on her story, because a lot of these would have been pre-filmed. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So I was following Sydney pretty heavily, and if you look at the times when she should have been on Survivor, she was no injury, was totally fine. As soon as she would have come back after filming, she has this huge leg injury. And we'll get to this more later, Jeff has said a couple times in interviews and on his Instagram and everything that this is one of the most dangerous, toughest, hardest seasons. Is that because there was some kind of gruesome injury? Obviously, she's fine. She's, not in a hospital or anything.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't. It's probably not to the extent of a Scoopin or Caleb type of injury, but still maybe something that can take her out of the game.
Me when I get medevaced.
Yeah, I mean, I hope she doesn't get medevaced. I hope it's I hope it's like a thing that you're on maybe after the merge, she made it after the merge, and then has to deal with some type of leg injury. But I don't know. She might get medevaced if he's saying it's the most dangerous season.
Yeah. So with
Because
that being said,
surely Jeff is not saying that the season's dangerous because of the conditions, because the conditions aren't terrible in Fiji, unless it's just
they
a really
are.
harsh year.
Well, that was another thing too. Was people were posting? I think Devon's even posted an image of it or retweeted of people were looking at like AccuWeather and looking up Fiji, and it was like rain, like thunderstorms every day. But I believe that was only when they were filming 42, because they filmed 42 and 41
Because
back to back.
one season always gets the short end of the stick weather-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So we might see it more with 42. But as far as danger goes, like, I don't know. How could you make it more dangerous? Give them less rice or something? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. That's the rumor. I'll go on to that in a second. I'm trying to look up. Yeah, like right now, Fiji, 40% rain, 60 tomorrow, 80 the next day, 40 the next day. So every day it's scheduled to rain in Fiji, all with isolated thunderstorms. So Fiji can be a bad place. Maybe it depends on what season they're in. I don't know.
Okay,
so like I
yeah,
said,
I'm seeing it. Yeah.
So like I said, guys, we will be doing a fantasy draft at some point. If you've seen on this channel, we did fantasy drafts for the Challenge Insiders, and Chris and Riley did fantasy draft for Survivors South Africa, Immunity Island, which I hear is shaping up to be. I'm pretty behind. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, I think. But I've been hearing that's a pretty good season. And then Australian Survivor, Brains versus Brawn, no beauty, just Brain and Brawn.
Australia
is going to start airing, I think this week. I think it's this week. It's either this week or next week. That's Australian Survivor. I've seen the last 3 seasons. They've all been pretty good. So if it's continued, they've figured out how they can stand out from U.S. Survivor in a way that's entertaining. I think they've figured out that formula. But anyway, we will be doing a fantasy draft. If you want to know, I'm trying to say, if you want to compare what that's going to look like, go ahead and watch those videos if you haven't. Basically, it's going to be like an NFL draft. We're going to go back and forth, picking players for our teams, and hopefully the point is that the winner will be on your team, and whoever wins has to Venmo the other person $50,000.
What?
Those are the stipulations.
What? I don't have $50,000.
Well, I accept monthly payments, but we can talk about that later. Moving on to the next, I guess you could say, rumor is that, and I believe it was Inside Survivor that also pointed this out, is that fire tokens are done, that they are a thing of the past. That was a one-time thing. Again, it's a rumor. If that's the case, I'm cool with it. I thought it was an idea that I didn't hate immediately. I wasn't like, no, this is stupid. But as the season went on, I was like, okay, this was maybe a good idea that hasn't been fully fleshed out, because it just seemed like no one was using them. It was like people were collecting them, and they weren't being used for anything except Edge of Extinction, which I'm almost positive is never coming back. I mean, it seems like no one on the face of the earth except Chris Underwood is a fan,
and Jeff,
and maybe Jeff, are fans of Edge of Extinction. That was the only way fire tokens seem to draw use. I don't know. What do you think? We talked about this before, but I forget your.
I am
position.
a fan of the fire tokens. I like seeing some economics play into. I agree it hasn't been fleshed out as much as it could. I think it could be used even more. I think that the inflation gets really high where like the fire tokens don't mean as much at the beginning. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I had 1 fire token at the start and now it takes like 5 to get like an idol for 1 tribal, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it's okay. I mean, they need to find some way to keep them relevant throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I just think they I mean, the extortion episode was a good episode, but I feel like that was just because it was Tony. I don't know if that would have been as entertaining with someone not
No.
Tony.
He was the perfect person to get extorted. Yes.
And it was just like people you forgot who had what tokens. You know, they would remind you when they did confessionals, but it was like sometimes you would be like, wait, Parvati is how many? Like it would just kind of come out of nowhere. It was like people were finding tokens. That's another thing too, is like you should win. Maybe if you win challenges, you get tokens. And then I wish there would just be one menu for everyone that would never change. That was like a tarp is this many. I think they're like overthinking it. And I think if they went all out with the fire tokens, it would impact the game so much. It would be a cool dynamic, but it would kind of take over the game. If they went all in on the fire tokens, I think they should do it for like one season where it's just the season's all about the survivor economy, and then that's it. We have like make that the theme of the season, not a recurring thing. Now that's my take. But apparently this season has no fire tokens. Maybe that's just because the fan response definitely was unfavorable with them in Winners at War, which is rare because it seemed like it was something that was going to stick for a bit, but maybe not. Maybe not. Trying to pull up Jeff Probst's. I don't think if I play his little short Instagram clip, we wouldn't be flagged for that, right? That's not. It's not.
No. You're good.
All right. So let me. Okay. So which one was this? Is this just announcing the date? Can you hear it?
Yeah, it's not that one. It's the one that's before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right
Did
there,
you hear that though? Did you hear that audio?
No, you're not sharing your audio.
You can't hear this?
Nope.
Okay.
You need to reshare with your audio. Do you want me to?
Do you know how to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll stall the fans while you do that.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right.
So, guys.
You can hear that?
Is it playing?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, all. We are back
Yeah.
from shooting Survivor 41, and we have a premiere date for Survivor, which I'm going to tell you about. It's very exciting. But I just wanted to check in and let you know that Survivor was tough for the players, because think about it. We had an entire year where we weren't shooting, so all we had was time to think. And that's a dangerous thing. And it led to us creating a new game that is much more dangerous. You could refer to it as Survivor 2.0. You could call it Dawn of a New Era, which it is. You could refer to Survivor 41 by saying drop the 4, keep the 1, because this is a brand new game. All of these are true. But here's the best way to think of this new version of Survivor. Survivor 41 is like the monster in a horror movie. And if you're a player, it's coming for you. So either you devour the monster or the monster will devour you. Survivor 41 premieres September 22nd, 2-hour premiere. Wednesday night is Survivor night. It's going to be good to be back. I look forward to seeing you there.
All right.
So, a couple things to break down from that. I think the biggest thing is the Survivor 2.0 thing. You know, I mean, we want the game to evolve. We want there to be new things added, but do we want a completely new game? Do we?
I just don't know to what extent is it going to be a new game, because Jeff has a way of putting things into hyperbole.
Yeah. Like ever since the finale of Philippines, the reunion show, and he built up Caramoan as like this amazing top 5 season. I always took Jeff's previews for upcoming things with a little bit of a grain of salt, as much as I love the guy.
That's
he's
what
a
I'm
salesman.
saying.
He's a promoter. You know, he's a marketer.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think it's going to be different, and I hope it is the dawn of a new era However, is it going to be a completely different game? I mean, if anything, if it's what they're saying it is, then they're just going back to what it was when it was hard to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Like in 1, 2, 3, you know.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the question, is how, to what extent is it going to be different? Because the thing is, we knew, like, when Survivor 1 started, we knew everything, coming into, I mean, not we were getting too young, but like they pretty much laid the rules of the game out. It wasn't like in the first episode they were like, oh, what, they got to vote someone out, or oh, what, they are going to merge. Everyone knew everything coming into it. Every time Survivor adds something new, they make sure that you understand it in full. If they're going to change it completely, it's like, are they going to tell us before? Are we going to figure it out as the season goes on? I'd prefer the former. I don't want a completely new game. I wouldn't mind like some sort of like spin-off if they were going to be like, oh, let's do like Survivor, but like more close to like Alone, where it's like real survival and like it's real intense, and it's get rid of the family visit, get rid of all the happy moments, just make it brutal from start to finish. Okay, if you want to make that a spin-off, I'll probably watch that, but you got to keep the game not the same, but you can still evolve it, add new things, try new things. I'm not mad at them for trying fire tokens. I'm just mad at how it ended up playing out. But you can't knock them for trying. So dawn of a new era. Okay. We've had dawns of new eras. I mean, you could say that All-Stars was a dawn of a new era. It was the first time that returning players came back, that pre-existing alliances came, that power couples happened. You could say that Guatemala was the dawn of a new era. The hidden immunity idol changed everything. You could say that I was going to say 18 was the dawn of a new era simply because coach. But you could say that, the next season, Samoa with Russell was a dawn of an era, because now everything's different. Survivor is, balls to the wall from the moment you set foot on the island. It's a create an alliance with everyone. It's when people figured out that between outwit, outplay, outlast, between the strategic, the challenge beasts, and the social aspect, that strategic was the the most entertaining, the one that was going to get you the furthest. And then obviously finding items without clues. So we've had a couple dawns of new eras that didn't feel like complete changes. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's Survivor before and after Russell, but were they complete? Do you see old school and new school Survivors as completely different games? Because I don't.
No, they're not completely different games, just elevated. So, I mean, is he saying that it's going to be a completely different game is it scaling back? Like, are you stripping it down? Or is it going to be a new game because it's this really strategical gameplay and it's hard to survive?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess we'll see. And like Jeff said, I mean,
is it going to be, the way he's making it sound is like he's saying it's Survivor 2.0, but is it really just going to be Survivor 0.5? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, or 1.5. But the whole thing is true. I mean, with the long off season, it wasn't like they were finding new, I mean, they were casting, but they always do casting. So that's one thing you got to think, that this is going to be a pretty dope cast, because they had so much time to fine tune the cast for 41 and 42. But Jeff's right. They had so much time to think of new ideas. When they're not shooting, they're editing, they're promoting, they're marketing, they're casting. With this, when they weren't shooting, they had nothing to do but think of new things to do. And when you have more time to think, you're more likely to come up with ideas that just stick. So we'll see. Much more dangerous. That I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed, because I think Survivor has become too comfortable. I like that they couldn't drink their water till they made fire. I like that they were given limited amount of food. I like that there was, it's like, when was the last medevac? Was Caleb the last medevac in Cal Wrong?
I don't know.
Trying to think. I can't really think of. See if I can do like a really quick. I know there's like a wiki page that's like list of all 15 survivor medevacs in order. Okay, Bruce, James, Colton in One World. Was that a medevac?
No.
Caleb. Okay, well, Caleb and Neil and Joe. I guess technically we're all. Oh, Pat. Besides Caleb and Kyle Wrong, the only other medevac was Pat in David and Goliath. But that wasn't really because of the show. That was just because he hit his head off the boat and got a concussion. Which,
he was
if you guys haven't
paralyzed.
checked it out, check out our interview with Carl Boudreau from that season. He gives a little bit more detailed on what exactly happened. But is that because the show was dangerous, or was that because they were just boating in thick water and kind of got unlucky? So the last like real dangerous season you could say is maybe Cal Wrong, which is what, 32, right? Yeah, after Cambodia. So I'm not opposed to a dangerous season. I don't mind, because when you look at it, like, some of the best seasons have been the most dangerous. Like Micronesia is low-key one of the most dangerous seasons. You had 3 medevacs. I mean, Penner with his injury, and then James getting his thumb, and then it was just like everyone just seemed like they were getting hurt and getting thrown around in challenges, and like they were always out of food. So I don't mind the more dangerous. I don't want it to become like a full-on, Lord of the Flies or like what's Alone. Like I don't want it to become that where they're like literally, but yeah, more demanding, more brutal. Back to the survival aspect. Here's a rumor. Okay, this isn't confirmed, but here's some last final thought rumors. Is that there's no more feasts.
Yeah, I saw that.
At least in 41 is that there's no more merge feast. There's no more, if you guys win this reward, you get a huge banquet, or you get to fly to a spa. All the fancy rewards apparently are gone. So I'm guessing that every reward is just going to be, fishing gear, tarp, shelter, building equipment, stuff like that. Which, I don't love or hate, because, like I said, I do like the survival aspect of the show. I feel like that's almost completely gone. But some of those moments, I mean, like we were talking about in our last episode, like Ethan and Lex visiting the village in Africa and playing soccer is like one of my favorite moments in the history of the show. Like there's some great moments of those like rewards. Remember the reward where I was actually just rewatching Cook Islands, where Yul and Ozzy and Parvati go to the spa together and they're like skinny dipping. Like that was a fun, there's like fun moments of these rewards. But so it's something that I could see myself loving or hating. Kind of got to see how it plays out. Do you have any thoughts? Any thoughts on that aspect?
I mean, like I said, like I like seeing him struggle, and if that makes him struggle, hey, make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, this is another rumor that apparently, up into the merge, every time you lose a challenge, you have to give up your flint. I think that's a bit too much, personally. I think I feel like once you've earned something, you've earned it. It's like, why do you have to then give it up? I'm not a huge fan of that one, but like, I guess again, this is also a rumor too. It's kind of the last thing I have in my notes is if there is a theme of this season, it's everything comes with a price. So I don't even know what that could mean, because I feel like that's something that really exists already in Survivor. If you blindside someone, you risk how that's going to affect you. If you win a challenge, that you pay the price by people saying, "Oh, he's a threat." If you put yourself in a power position, same thing. People see you as being a threat. So I feel like Survivor kind of already has that aspect ingrained of the everything comes at a price. So I'm not sure what more could be honed in, except that only thing I can think of is maybe you have to like you can double down on rewards, or maybe you can like to win a better reward you have to give up your last reward. I just feel like the reward challenge is going to be like a big part of this, or maybe the as Survivor went on throughout the seasons, the closer we get to 40, you notice that reward challenges and immunities are kind of the same. Like you win both. Back in the first 10, 15 seasons, that was rare for you to win a reward.
Yeah.
It was always separate. So maybe that's just a full-on, there is no reward and immunity. It's just the the daily challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against that. Like, I mean, I don't think it'll ruin the season.
Yeah. I feel like there's enough liberties there they can take, but there's always a thin line with Survivor. It's always like they try new stuff, and there's just a
if
thin
it doesn't
line.
If it doesn't work out, I mean, hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say a thin line between it being like a great idea and then just completely not being a good idea. Like the legacy advantage, does that really need to be there? I don't know.
Great. It was good for Sarah. It was a good move, but
it was a good move to get it. But did she ever use it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, she did use it?
She did. Yep. That's what got Suri out. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's always something.
Maybe we should hate the legacy advantage.
Yeah. That's another thing, too, is this new era going to because here's the thing with past contestants. When you look at people like Russell and Richard Hatch, Boston Rob, and Tyson, they're like purists. Once you're on the show, especially if you're on the show multiple times, especially if you're a winner or made it to the final tribal council, you're a purist, and there's like this deep love for the show. And the more that it changes, the less into it you are. Like if you've been watching Russell's videos, he is not a fan of all these 26 days of all this stuff. He said if these were the conditions for a season that he would be invited back to play, he would rather just not play. So you got to wonder, is that true? Two, you got to wonder, is that going to be a thing where the game is going to change so much over the next couple of years that the legends are not going to come back? Or I guess you'd say, and was that intentional? Was Winners at War meant to be it? That's like, these are the pre-40 people, these are the post-40 people. Are we even going to see mixes and matches? Because what they did with the challenges, the challenge All-Stars isn't a part of the challenge. Like they did challenge season 36 and then they have 37. All-Stars was in between that. All-Stars was like a whole new season that's just for Paramount Plus. Maybe Survivor's going to do that. Maybe they're going to do Survivor Legends 2, Legends 3, Legends 4, where every couple years they bring back like a small cast of pre-40 contestants to play the original game while the new people are playing the continued.
I mean, yeah. I definitely want this new era to have a lot more newbie seasons. And I never thought, before Winners at War, I'd ever catch myself saying this, but I mean, there's not a lot of people I want to see back. Yeah.
I definitely want to see Russell come back one more time because
what sticks out of my head is probably Russell, maybe Rob C.
Rob C, for sure. I mean, Hatch, but it would never happen at this point.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's just like there's not that many people that I'm just dying to see back on my TV. Like, I want to see good gameplay, and I want to see new people I can fall in love with. Like, you can't just keep milking these older players. So maybe they finally realize that.
Yeah, Rob and Russell, that might be it. Spencer, I mean, I definitely want to see Spencer come back. I feel like he needs one more season. That really might be it for me. Because, I mean, I'd love to see Courtney back, but, I wouldn't be mad if I didn't.
In short,
Lex.
with the new era, I do want to see less returnees. I want to see, from the way Jeff is making it sounds harsher, but I still hope the gameplay is still fast paced, or at least it's just good gameplay. And I hope that they do struggle, and I hope the gameplay is still similar to how it has been, because it's been pretty good. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting, but I like making it harsher. I like the direction that they're going with it. If it is a bit harsher, after a while, it starts to feel like Big Brother on the beach, and so I'd rather stay away from it. Yeah, make them boil their water, bro. That's an aspect of the game.
Yeah.
I miss the scenes of them trying to get fired. I missed the scenes of them struggling. Yeah.
Well, what it did was, the more harsh the season was, the better the camaraderie was between the players. You know,
because they're out there struggling together.
Right. Yeah. So they grew closer because they struggled. So when you grow closer, there's a lot of more fun moments on TV. It's a lot more difficult to blindside people, because oh man, I don't want to blindside my friends. And then people actually were sad when people left, and if someone blindsided your best friend, then it was, there was the revenge aspect is pretty much, and I like the, tribal unity. It's nowadays, the show, ever since Russell, it's just every man for himself. That's really what Survivor is now. But back in the day, like I said, I was just watching Cook Islands. So maybe it's because the I-24 is just a little more fresh in my mind. But I kind of like camaraderie, and I feel like the biggest way to build camaraderie is from harsh conditions. So I agree with you. So I don't know. I think that's a good place to cap it off.
Yeah.
Cap off this podcast. Cool. Well, guys, we're pretty excited for season 41. We've always been fans, but now we're Survivor buffs, and we've always been buffs of the show, but now we're the Survivor buffs.
The Survivor buffs.
So we, we're obviously going to be covering the show as it airs. With Boston Rob and Charlie D'Amelio. It's going to be a 4-person Zoom call for every single episode, including the reunions. We're excited. Season 41. No matter what, I'm excited. And no matter what, I'm going to keep watching. They'd have to really, really deviate from the core of the show for me to stop watching. It would take a lot. I mean, if you can get through Nicaragua, Redemption Island, and One World back to back to back, bro, you can get through anything.
End the podcast. End it. I'm not about to have this conversation. End the broadcast. I don't want to talk.
Everyone like the video. Everyone subscribe. Giuseppe is a great winner.